All right. I'm trying to shoot video on the Obama phone. So come to find out, the reason that it shut down on that first chunk of video coming back from the thrift store is I was it was the phone was overheating. Yeah, it's a common problem with phones in Phoenix when you're outside. Um, wow, this looks what I'm seeing on my screen looks absolutely terrible. Yeah, I always said that not want an Obama phone because it's probably such a substandard phone. I wouldn't be happy with it. Now, from what the guy I got it from told me, I can get my phone number transferred to this SIM card, and then put the SIM card in my iPhone. But anyway, God, I sure hope this looks better than what I'm seeing on the screen because it looks terrible on the screen. And I apologize for the vertical video, but I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with this thing yet. It's the first time I've even going to hit my home screen. Anyway, this record here, back to Oscar Brand. So it's on the audio fidelity label. And if you look on the side, this is a study in high fidelity. Audio fidelity is the first record label that put out modern stereo records, what is known as a stereo LP today, where the left channel is on one side of the groove and the right channel is on the other side of the groove. There was a stereo technology that was around before that that used two parallel spaced arms and two parallel spaced grooves, and pretty awkward. V Westlife has a fabulous video about it, and at some point I might back up and put a link in my description so you can check that out. And while I don't think he ever managed to find the proper turntable to play it, with the two, they're really funny looking. It's like you got a tone arm and then like a looks like a tuning fork on the end of it, stylus on each side. Um, what the hell? I don't think he ever found that. But what he ended up doing was playing it on a regular turntable and digitizing the left channel and then playing it on another turntable. Basically, I had two mono grooves, playing it on another turntable and digitizing the other channel, and then combining it in Audacity to create a stereo file, which he added to his YouTube video, and the sound is phenomenal. Um, so anyway, this label here, Audio Fidelity, Steady and High Fidelity Sound, they were a label that specialized in audiophile records. They were not a major label though, so they didn't get all the huge popular artists. At one point, they did actually manage to get Louis Armstrong. This was after he was kind of considered a has-been, and those Audio Fidelity Louis Armstrong records sound amazing. I got one of them, but I bought another record on this label many years ago called it's just called Body Songs, and it's just what it sounds like. Um, I love the artwork. Notice, I hope I'm getting it in the frame. I can barely even see my screen here. Uh, Notice no girls in frat house after 9 p.m. House mother. Um, and see this college kid's sneaking a college girl with a hell of a nice rack in his shirt. I sure hope that's the sound of somebody closing their storage door because that sounds really disturbing. All right. Anyway, yeah, this will probably be a fun listen. The other one sure is. It's not super crass by today's standards, but funny, pretty vulgar humor. I enjoy that kind of stuff. So, the girls from Campus Hall, four-letter words, studying anatomy, drinks all around, seniors in town again, glorious correspondence, the more vulgar-minded, uh, and so on and so forth. This is going to be a fun record looking, and probably a very good sounding record, and it's in pristine condition. Um, Kind of funny, when I was here earlier sorting through CDs, I grabbed a copy of a CD reissue of the Man of La Mancha cast album, which, and I know show tunes is not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm not a big into it, but I do enjoy it. And this was Best Musical 1966. This is history. This is fun stuff. I mean, it's the story of Don Quixote. uh, and it's really good soundtrack. I grabbed the one that was when I was sorting CDs today. I grabbed the one that I saw because I had recently acquired another one. So one of those is going to go up for sale. But this looks like an original vinyl release of it on Cap Red Label. The CDs were on MCA, and it's not pristine, but it's a pretty solid VG, maybe VG plus. I you know, I don't look that closely at them when I'm inspecting them. I just when I look at records for condition, it's like, do I want them? It's just good enough. I'll take it. And the Skeeter was not good enough that I would take it, but I wanted that cover so bad, and that I mentioned to her, and I couldn't believe she actually made the effort to bring it down to $1. And so, anyway, kind of stoked about that. And boy, and if you thought that music sucked, you're gonna love this. Evie. So, love that 70s. I'm so Christian and pure haircut. Um, my mother really enjoyed listening to Evie when I was a little kid, and I not particularly a fan, but it brings a certain nostalgia when I listen to it. And I don't think I've ever seen this record before, but it's obviously like children's songs performed by Evie, and I dig this hype sticker. World Record and Tape Club coupons. Yeah, I would imagine that offer's probably not good anymore. It's even got a price tag from Berean. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I do remember that Christian bookstore from back in the day. Still got the original shrink on it. I looked inside it. It doesn't look like it's ever even been played, or maybe played once or twice. And it wasn't. Most of them have been $3.29. This one was only $2.29. Yeah, I'll spend $2 on that. That's neat. And I don't play a lot of classical records. I bought that other one because it's 10-inch. This one I got. I don't think I've ever seen this series before. I'm used to classical stuff on Columbia being Columbia Masterworks series. This is Columbia Entree series, LP series. Got the original. For those who are not familiar, like LP was actually a format created by Columbia Records to compete with the 78s, and then later the 45s that were made by RCA and Tecmo. The Authority, the best video to learn about that, Tecmo, it's called The Forgotten Format War of 1949, and Tecmo did a fabulous video about it. Anyway, that's the original LP format logo, kind of like the compact disc logo. Well, LP used to have its own format logo, and that was it. And yeah, there's a seam split. You can see the record coming out the bottom, but this record is in really good shape. I've never seen this particular Columbia label before. Obviously, I've got some homework to do to find out what that's about, but I dig the way the catalog numbers are on the sides here. I've got some really early Columbia LPs, and some Masterworks, and then just mostly swing jazz stuff, some progressive swing jazz stuff. Um, Benny Goodman. I'm trying to think of the other artist. Forgetting his name, but there's an artist that Soul Coughing really loved to sample, and I've got a couple of his records that are of this vintage, and so I love the layout on these records from this era, and it should sound, as long as it wasn't played with a bad needle, it should sound really good. The record looks to be in great shape, and I dig this. Enjoy Columbia's new sound, a product of superb performance, expertly reproduced on high fidelity records. Like, this is when this record would have been when LP was a brand new format. Notice it doesn't say mono or stereo on it. Stereo LPs didn't exist when this was pressed. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to Rachmaninoff Concerto Number 2. My knowledge of classical music is pretty weak, I'll admit it. But I've certainly heard of Rachmaninoff, and I'll probably recognize it when I hear it. That's the funny thing with me and classical stuff. Like, I've been around enough classical music, and that generally when I buy a classical album and I listen to it, I'm like, oh, that's who that is. That's who wrote that. And like, so a lot of people, if you tell them